Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The Azimio la Umoja movement has nominated Polycarp Igathe, the former deputy governor for Nairobi, to fly the Azimio gubernatorial flag for Nairobi. And one question which most Kenyans are asking is whether Polycarp Igathe has what it takes to defeat Johnson Sakaja, the UDA candidate for Nairobi. Polycarp Igathe is considered to be an elite, and defeating Johnson Sakaja is not going to be a walk in the park for Igathe for several reasons. Number one, Johnson Sakaja is an experienced politician. He was the chairperson of TNA and led TNA party to delivering the presidency to President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. He gained a lot of experience during that time. Number two, Johnson Sakaja is credible. So if you are looking for a politician with experience and also credible, to some extent, Johnson Sakaja is experienced and he has that credibility, although most Kenyans refer to Johnson Sakaja as an educated Sonko, but it's not falling into that category. Number three, William Samoei Ruto is also determined to ensure that UDA as a political party captures Nairobi. So the deputy president is a schemer and is also scheming on how to knock out Polycarp Igathe and Azimio out of Nairobi. Number four, the Kikuyu factor. Will Polycarp Igathe manage to win the support of the Kikuyu nation in Nairobi? Because we all know that majority of the Kikuyu nation are actually in the UDA party. UDA party is the party which is sponsoring Johnson Sakaja in Nairobi. And lastly, we also know that Johnson Sakaja is referred to as educated Sonko, which means Sakaja can actually go dirty on Polycarp Igathe. He can play those kind of tricks which saw Mike Sonko winning against Governor Kidero. But the question is, can Polycarp Igathe defeat Mike Sonko? And if he can, what must he do to defeat Sonko? In this video, I want to explain to you guys 5 things which, in my view, I think Polycarp Igathe must do for him to defeat Johnson Sakaja in Nairobi. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue to thank you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, what should Polycarp Igathe do to win Nairobi? That's the question, because you know there was fallout, serious fallout, especially ODM supporters who felt that Tim Wanyonyi was the right candidate for Nairobi. The other thing we must know is that in Nairobi, politics is normally tribal. So you must have a tribal combination. For example, on paper, Polycarp Igathe is the next governor on paper. Why? Because he has the Jubilee support and he has the ODM support. That's on paper. Whereby, if you have the Kamba vote, the Luo vote, and a bit of Loya votes, assuming some of them will go to Sakaja, and the Kikuyu, because he's a Kikuyu, he will win that seat by 6. He talked of 857. He will win that seat by that time. But that's on paper. On reality, kwa ground, vitu ni tofauti. What can he do? The first thing Polycarp Igathe must do is, number one, he must shed off the elite mentality. I saw a clip of Polycarp Igathe. And in that clip, Polycarp Igathe was explaining how he's going to defeat Johnson Sakaja by 8:57 a.m., which was okay. But there's something he indicated there, that he was explaining that he will defeat him by that time because most of his educated supporters, those who are going to vote for him, he believes that they're educated, that those people wake up at 5, which is okay. But the educated or the middle class in this country hardly deliver the presidency. The president, hardly deliver the votes. The votes are normally delivered by those who are not educated. These are the guys who will wake up in the morning. They'll be blowing trumpets very early in the morning for their fellows to wake up. So in my view, one thing he must do, he must shed off that elitist mentality. If he still believes that there are people who will vote for him because they are educated and is educated, then he should forget about being the governor of Nairobi. The governor of Nairobi will be won by several other factors. And one of those factors is not those who are educated. Sakaja is educated, he's also educated. Sonko defeated Kidero, while Kidero was educated. You couldn't compare the CV of Governor Kidero to those of Sonko. If you go to Mombasa, Hassan Joho defeated Hassan Omar and Suleiman Shebal with overwhelming majority. You can't compare the CV of Joho to those of Shebal and Hassan Omar at that time. Now, those are the realities of politics. So the first thing he must do, he must shed off the elitist mentality. He must remove his suits, get dirty, go to the slums, talk to the people, be one of them, the way Mike Sonko has done, the way those before him have done, the way even Ruto is doing. So that's number one. Number two, for Polycarp Igathe to win, he must win the support of the Kikuyu nation in Nairobi, period. The truth is, if he can win the support of the Kikuyu nation, I'm sure the Luos in Nairobi, because they are focused on the presidency, will automatically vote for him. And because charity begins at home, he must go to the Kikuyu nation. I know so many people, some few guys on this platform don't like what I'm saying, but the fact is he must go to the Kikuyu nation, talk or speak to them in their language. If he can't speak Kikuyu, sorry for him. But he must organize those Kikuyu nation. He must strategically rally them. Once that's done, he can then come out. Charity will begin. Charity begins at home. There is no way he can expect ODM as a political party, because ODM will go where Raila is telling them to vote for him, while he can't get the support of Jubilee. The only challenge for him is that Ruto is also monitoring the development in Nairobi, because Ruto understands that if Igathe will manage to convince the Kikuyu nation in Nairobi to vote for him on a Jubilee ticket, that will replicate in the other parts of the Kikuyu nation. So Ruto is also monitoring. So Uhuru Kenyatta, the Kikuyu Council of Elders, and all those other groups must go back and convince the Kikuyus to support Igathe. Once he wins that Kikuyu support, he can be assured of the Luo support. I am sure Kambas will go where Kalonzo Musyoka is. And the fact that Sonko has been now sent to Nairobi, expect Sonko to come and campaign for Igathe. So Kamba votes sealed. Luo vote sealed. If he can seal the Kikuyu votes, he will be the governor of Nairobi by 8:57, the way he announced. So he must get that support. The third thing he must do is that he must penetrate the ODM support bases in Nairobi. I stated that Johnson Sakaja is an experienced politician. And he also stated that Johnson Sakaja is an educated Mike Sonko. So which means Sakaja will be able to go to those ODM support base. Kibra, Langata, those places of Lakisama. He must go there. So Polycarp Igathe must go to those areas. He must make those areas his strongholds. He must go there, capture the goons in those areas. Because if you don't capture goons in those areas on time, he won't even be able to step in some of those areas. I know the politics of Nairobi. Some of these guys are my friends. So he must go capture those goons early enough. And those goons only hear two languages. One of them is money. One of them is politics. So he must also organize and strategize with the ODM nominees. For example, in Embakasi East, he must work very closely with Mike Sonko. He must go and work very closely with the nominee in Kebra. He must go in Langata, work very closely with Jalash. That's the only shortcut. Once he penetrates the ODM support base, the lawyer factor will automatically fall in place because they believe that their guy was not changed. So he must target those groups. The fourth thing he must do is proper branding. And this is where the challenge is. Is Igathe going to run as the Azimio candidate or as Jubilee candidate? Of course, he's going to run as Jubilee candidate. Are ODM supporters comfortable voting someone on a Jubilee ticket? That's the question. Because if you look at even the Jubilee strongholds, they're not comfortable branding Raila Odinga. Now, the same is applying to ODM supporters. So we must do proper branding. And that branding should not be Jubilee the way I'm seeing him doing. Polycarp Igathe must wait for Raila Odinga to release his banners and posters. Then he should copy those. He should borrow a leaf from Richard Ngatia, the kind of banners and billboards he placed. Forget about the ones in Jubilee, the original ones with the Azimio. That is what he needs, in my view. Have Azimio branded, not really Jubilee. Even Johnson Sakaja, if you look at his the poster he released yesterday, is not that UDA per se. He's trying to make it, blend it, UDA and ANC party, so that he doesn't want to appear as if he's a UDA, because the ODM supporters and Jubilee supporters, who are the majority of in Nairobi, would not want to associate with UDA. So for him, he must also figure out how he's going to do his branding. And lastly, Polycarp Igathe must reach out to the Luhya nation. The first person he must look for is Tim Wanyonyi. Sit down with the Tim Wanyonyi, agree. Even if ceding some of the roles, he must agree. Then after that, he must organize meetings with the Luhya nation in Nairobi. He must convince the Luhya nation that his government, the Luhyas are going to have stakes, that in Azimio, the Luhyas have stakes. Because, for example, in Nairobi, the Luhyas have a senatorial candidate in the name of Edwin Sifuna. He must work with Edwin Sifuna very closely to project that image of Luhya nation as part of his team. I don't know what you think, but for me, those are the 5 things which Polycarp Igathe must do. If you want to do them, Polycarp Igathe will face serious problems. Thank you guys, and please also remember to check out isorite.com. I'm going to put the link in the description